going ongoing thing.
Everything Apple Pro here. Welcome back to another episode of Apple News and Leaks. And today we've got multiple reports on the iPhone 12. Everything from a new color, the actual design and chassis of the new iPhone, to what's going on inside, RAM, power, and displays, everything in between. And I'd like to remind you that there's just a couple. So first thing I'd like to mention is an exclusive leak with Max Weinbach, who has been extensively leaking the Galaxy S20 series. Now he's claiming that Apple will be replacing the midnight green color with a navy blue. It's separated. It's something we've rendered up before, not knowing if it would happen or not. I'd like to remind you though, Max Weinbach hasn't had the best record when it comes to these leaks, but he did accurately predict a number of things, sticking with a curved design that we're not going to be seeing a new housing that's square like the iPhone 4, which Ming Chi Kuo did claim would be happening. I was very disappointed to learn this, as I think it's about time, and I really enjoy the iPad Pro design. Why not have it on the iPhone as well? And something I'd like to mention is here I have a squared housing for the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I'll be doing a swap on this new lineup strategy here. 2 low-end models, 2 high-end models, the low end being 5.4 and 6.1. It's between the iPhone SE and iPhone 8 sizing, so it'll fit right into there. And the 6.1 inch will be between the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro Max that currently exists right now. And the 6.7 inch will just be slightly taller than the iPhone 11 Pro Max right now. So entirely new sizes. We don't know much about the displays other than that thing is completely changing all across the board. A smaller iPhone and the largest iPhone gets even bigger. An interesting tidbit is that the 6.7 inch Mammoth will be thinner. The entire lens setup would be larger than that of the iPhone 11 Pro, which would be very strange because Apple usually keeps their lens setup at least for 2 years. By Ming Chi Kuo, he's claiming all 5G models of this year's iPhone 12 lineup will be available at launch, and the larger versions being 6.1 and 6.7 inches. So also confirming the new report today. They do expect all iPhones to be organic LED display equipped in 2020, so no more LCD on an iPhone, except they didn't mention anything other than it will be refreshed. Let's hope that includes a smaller notch. Also mentioned in that Barclays report is that Apple is considering removing the Lightning port.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable. Don't be afraid to show what we're going for. This is what we know. Here we come back to life, we're still breathing. Standing up, everybody's gonna see it. All you need to know is that we're holding on. Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna stop until we reach it. All you need to know is that we're holding on. We rise up from the dust and clean my throat. We all have our reasons why we are on this track. Oh, we all have our burdens, yeah, but we just keep on fighting and we never look back. Here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable. Don't be afraid to show what we're going for. This is what we know. Here we come back to life, we're still breathing. Standing up, everybody's gonna see it. All you need to know is that we're holding on. Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna stop until we reach it. All you need to know is that we're holding on. We rise up from the dust and clear my throat.
If Apple decides to stick with the same design, if you've been following the show and Apple rumors over the past few months, you'll likely be aware that the iPhone 12, or the next flagship iPhone due in September this year, is supposed to bring a fresh new design. We've seen side-by-side comparisons with 3D printed mock-ups to give us an idea of what to expect. And of course, plenty of renders. One of my favorites is this video from Concept's iPhone on YouTube. As you can see, it's kind of similar to the look of the iPhone 4 and 5 from years past, potentially adding an extra lens at the back on the higher end models, which will likely be a time-of-flight camera rather than a new focal length. But this week, well, that old is new again design places like Apple Insider and 9to5Mac seems to say that the iPhone 12 might look a lot like the iPhone 11. The only thing that will be significantly different is the camera module. Chinese supplier which said to expect a very similar metal chassis to the iPhone 11 with slightly bowed edges. Now, this is almost the complete opposite to what renowned Apple analysts, one 5.4 inch, two 6.1 inches, and one 6.7 inch phone. However, the largest screen size iPhone is now expected to be taller and slimmer than the current iPhone 11 Pro Max. Maybe it will look more like this render, also from Concept's iPhone on YouTube. But here's the thing. I think the interpretation of that Mac Otakara report is up for debate. My read of it is that those 4 new in the article are all referencing that square edge design rather than something that looks like the iPhone 11 that we know now. Let me know what you think. We do have another rumor though about a new color option for the iPhone 12, probably the Pro and the Pro Max. Instead of the midnight green we know now from the 11 Pro, it could come in a navy blue. Anyway, amongst all the confusing news this week, we have a glimmer of a new OLED display with inbuilt fingerprint reader. The patent describes it working in 2 modes, one for optical sensing to allow Touch ID to work under the screen, and the other mode would be touch sensing, which is presumably for regular use as a touchscreen. It will be capable of discerning between water and an object like a finger, or ambient light and a finger. Some ultrasonic readers on Android phones can work when your hands are a bit wet, so we'll have to see how Apple will differentiate this technology from what's currently out. 2 fingers to unlock a phone. Whether or not we'll see Touch ID on the iPhone 12 or the 2011, I will not be a happy camper. Look, there's nothing wrong with the current design, I just want something different to report in Bloomberg. This means expect to see it launch as soon as March, just as I reported on last week's show. Apple reportedly according to a report in Bloomberg. This means expect to see it launch as soon as March, just as I reported on last week's show. Apple reportedly put the brakes on end-to-end encryption on iCloud about a year ago because of pressure from the FBI. This news comes just a week after President Trump tweeted saying that Apple should enable a backdoor to help law enforcement agencies access locked iPhones. Another patent granted to Apple this week includes an enhanced PPG sensor for the Apple Watch. That's used to measure heart rate, blood oxygen saturation, and so on. This comes a week after Fitbit finally turned